Are you aware of the enormous buildup that has happened in the last week alone in terms of themes in the public field? Just think of what just happened in the United States with Tulsi Gabbard's release of all these literal proofs of what happened. This is getting big, and it is just one aspect of the intensity of what's going on our planet right now. There is still the prediction in the air of this Japanese seer who in 1999 gave the latest update on her prediction. Earlier she had predicted it would be July the 5th, 2025. She corrected it to the month of July in 2025. And interesting, tomorrow the 25th of July is 5 square. Okay, just this alone is interesting, puts a real limelight on that day, and I really wanted to do a recording at the eve of this powerful day. Actually, in universal time we are already in it. It's already 4:36 a.m. there. So you're just tapping into a real climax of energies, and it's very obvious if we look at astrology. We have the heliocentric Venus-Mars opposition. That is Mars here at 2052 in Libra, Venus at 2052 in Aries. They are in mutual reception. That makes them even more bonding together, working together, and they're both in cardinal signs. And that 21st degree of Libra and Aries is super loaded. That is the axis of the Declaration of Freedom, of freedom of independence charts. Very, very important and prominent Chiron Juno opposition, which I numerous times have pointed towards, that this is really where the solution lies of this chart in general, of that real great potential which has been coded into reality on that day, 4th of July 1776, and this is still in its infancy in a way. I mean, just think of past civilizations. They reach their peak usually around 1,000 years into their existence, or 2,000 years. Think of the Egyptian dynasties, for example. They were going over multiple thousands of years. So the American nation is very young, 250 years roughly now. So this is still infancy we are dealing with, and we are growing up fast as a species. And again, the United States, the Declaration of Independence, is kind of the leading of the wave. Many seers of the 20th century have predicted that America is where the future is, and that is exactly what that meant. It is the center of evolution, the you could say the point at the arrow. Anyway, I just wanted to point this out as the tomorrow's alignment. Here is the mouse. And just something. Sometimes I have to search for it. Okay. Anyway, so here is the story. This is when Venus Mars will be exactly opposite tomorrow afternoon, roughly 2 p.m. Universal Time, and we have this powerful first degree of Leo and of Virgo and Pisces, which is I mean, it's just a first degree, and it is the mutable cross, which is here really enlarged, which is all about change. So this is about shifting energies into a whole new integration. And then when we look at the same moment again for Greenwich United Kingdom and the geocentric perspective, the black moon is exactly at the ascendant. And just to go a little ahead of time here already, with the Sun-Pluto opposition, which follows just shortly. Actually, no, I have the sequence wrong here. The Sun-Pluto opposition is already at 6:30 in the morning versus, let me just correct this, right, versus the heliocentric Venus-Mars opposition. This is the geocentric chart of that moment. So, but hours earlier, when Sun and Pluto will have their exact opposition, the Black Moon and Juno are here at the 4th house cusp. This 13th, 14th degree of Scorpio is super powerful, and it has been heated up numerous times in the past few weeks as a degree which, when activated, would really release something big. And naturally the Black Moon, the shadow, the collective shadow, literally, that represents, it's like the deepest trench in the ocean where all the unprocessed and pushed away stuff is hiding. That comes into the source point. It is fed into the system directly with this Sun-Pluto opposition, which is all about the true power balance. It's the Sun, which is the principle of life force, and Pluto is the challenger in a way. Pluto is the one which wants to superimpose and override. That is kind of a Plutonic identity, or amongst many others, but it is really a power play which is going on when Sun and Pluto are in exact angle, particularly opposition and square. So this is a moment of enormous focus of power, short after a new moon nevertheless, and with the equatorial point here, which means on the equator of Earth in that moment the moon has just risen. So this really shows the potency of this moon. The moon represents the people, one of many meanings naturally, but it is the plebis, the masses, all the collective. It's like the ocean, and it's the water in each living being which connects with the moon. So there is this deep primal energy of survival and of being connected to nature in a very fundamental way. That's what the moon represents here at the ascendant, which means really life's, I would say nature's force is expressing through the whole of nature, human beings included, as we are mostly emotional beings. I mean, emotions are always what drives us finally. Really, I mean, it's obvious. It's not when you have a great thought that you will be having the fuel to really get to this place. You need the fire of your emotional engagement, and then yes, then the mental energy can be manifested into something real and physical and tangible. But to get back to the Sun-Pluto opposition, this is a super powerful moment every year that happens once, when this kind of power play is shown at its maximum. With the Black Moon here, hexagram 1, by the way, the creative, and then we have TX 300. That's one I really discovered and started to like, was during the Canadian convoy in 2022. That TX 300 stood out everywhere in all charts, Canadian and even global. This is kind of an amplifier. It gives you a big body, gives you a big stature, so kind of you can be almost like your avatar, which you're able to express through. And naturally big trucks are a beautiful example. So this is a power play here also on this axis. And then combine this with this Venus-Mars opposition, which is all about creating something new. And we have the same degree, the same axis, and the Black Moon for that reason here at the ascendant. So this is a very, very powerful day. There will be some major expressions, I guarantee you, on whatever level they may be, maybe on multiple levels. As I say, there is this prediction in the air, the 5 square, 25, and also in the year number we have the 25. It is a 7-7-9 day. That is the numerology. If we reduce each month, day, and year, which overall gives you a 14 plus 9 is 23, which reduces to a 5. And the 5 is the most dynamic of all digits. It's at the center of the magic square. It is really the number which gets everything going. It's the hub in a way. Also the midpoint between the two edges, between 0 and 10, kind of. That's yet adds another layer. So the 5 is a powerful number, and then the 7-7 speaks of the mystery which comes in, kind of the unexpected, irrational. That is definitely the number 7 is an irrational number. It has an unending number of digits after the dot, so it is really a fractal of the infinite, the 7. Like there's quite a few what's the word again? Now I lost it. Anyway, let's keep looking. So this is the peak we are really at. Now let me show you through another few charts which I have prepared, which is kind of showing the build-up to where we just are getting. And if I had more time, I would definitely do more shows. Sometimes it's just too many things going on in life, and you have to set priorities. Sorry for that. But let's see, it is started really getting into the intense waters with Jupiter entering hexagram 39 on Monday. That is just 3 days ago now. And suddenly that whole, I would say, bombshell of what's going on right now in the United States, of really another big, huge conspiracy is proven to not having been that, but rather the exact fact of what now is shown. This is a blast. This is I mean, this is just the beginning. You can kind of guess if truth wins, if the corruption in, for example, in the judicial system is overcome, reduced, or taken out completely, hopefully at some point. That is still the crucial point. Or is the whole system, yeah, you know where I'm going, the whole Epstein story and such. It is really, really, we're getting to the core of the matter. Now, look at that. The 28th degree of Capricorn. This is always related to the United States political reality. And whenever that degree is touched, that 28th degree of Capricorn, where Pluto in the natal chart sits here, the Declaration of Independence, whenever that degree is aroused, then yes, you can bet on it. Something big is happening in the States. A power play on big levels. And I mean, as this is close to the Sun-Pluto opposition, this is actually really amplifying it, and it brings it into the the ascendant-descendant axis, which is where things really most stand out and become visible. So this is a setup, and then of Uranus here at the exactly at the 4th house cusp here for Greenwich. So what is hexagram 39? That is provocation in one single word. It is the intentional teasing, tickling for something to come out, to express itself, to push its limits. Literally, that's what it means. It's just teasing until the teased cannot withstand of reacting, and this whole play which is in that hexagram. So Jupiter will be in this energy at least for a month. It's 5+ degrees, so that is the theme for the next while. So interesting too, this is exactly squaring President Trump's ascendant descendant. Actually here this Uranus here is doing that, 2955, that is Donald Trump's ascendant. And then, I mean, most of all, this beautiful Moon Venus Hygeia conjunction, this shows that everything is really going down very well in the end. That is the best possible timeline in a way. That is, Moon Venus is really taking the edges off here and bringing it down to the human level. People are not stupid. They finally will get it. It's so obvious, it can't be hidden anymore. Everyone who was culprit in that whole coup has to be brought to the table. It is, I guess we are really at that point where this is now unavoidable, and I mean, yeah, I really had to I had fun with it, seeing Mr. Trump playing his hoax, Epstein hoax card out, teasing the mainstream into now demanding that this is a subject and that it will be looked into. It was a brilliant move, really art of war tactic. And you know, I mean, Trump has this AW197, here it is in the present chart, which is all about that art of war. He has this in close proximity of his sun in Gemini, and actually that's also where this Moon and Venus and Hygeia is meeting. Hygeia is health, well-being, serendipity. So this is really a beautiful combination with Gemini energy, which is all about the communication and to share it and to really get that social feel of how something is unfolding. I mean, there's more to it. There is this other interesting Kuiper belt object, Undima, which is named after an African goddess, and which basically has to do with the ability to stand back, and when you do an objective research on something, stick to the truth and say, yes, I was wrong, I have been convinced by the opposite because I have done my research, I have looked deeper into things. That is actually also a very important energy which is at work at lightning speed. Certainly you could even say many people have that moment of just having to take the decision. As I said, it is decision time. We have to take a stand. We have to align to our highest truth and not compromise with something lesser. Always more is possible. And if you set yourself a higher standard, you are creating a target, and you will reach there eventually. It is all in the intention in the end. So anyway, this is a powerful chart. It's naturally true for everyone. This is again the Greenwich chart, the global fractal. Now let's browse through another few charts which were just tied into this one. Then we have the Jupiter folus opposition just hours later. You see the moon just 21:59 from 7:50 in the morning till 11 in the morning. So what is folus? Folus is about intelligence. You won't believe. It is the wise centaur who deals with secrets and is the seer, is connected to a higher level of intelligence, literally, kind of which separates him from the crowd of the other centaurs. He has special honors and therefore special privileges too. So Jupiter always amplifies. So I mean, you can't make these things up. It's just seems to be the perfect moment for things like that to happen. Then we have Quaoar, which is a troublemaker at first. It's a creative force, but in order to create something, sometimes you have to break a window to get into the free space. That's kind of the Quaoar's energy. Interesting that Quaoar and folus will be conjunct, close conjunct from Earth's perspective till 2061. You won't believe that. So this is one of the signs which shows that this is a renovation which is on for a while still for its full circle. However, there will be a major turning point coming, certainly not later than 2027. So just to say these two things, but the cleanup, the real hard, well, or not so hard, but definitely difficult to untangle all that things which are wrong. Just think of the whole education system, medical system. Everything has to be rebuilt from scratch, really. Yes, that knowledge is still here, but it has to be. First, you have to teach a whole new generation, who then will be the real voices of giving it reality in a bigger way, which then will really seed all the generations coming. So we are moving into a wonderful time, but we are at the, as I often say, in the rapids of this, in the bottleneck where things really get most intense. Okay, then the Sun entered Leo. Okay, yes, we go in the right direction. So here was the moon in Gemini, and here 22nd, that was then on Tuesday. And what stands out in this chart is Pallas Affini, which is all about use of intelligence and putting two and two together. It is then the recognition of patterns. And Chariklo, that is compassion and the ability to understand that others might need a little hand, and we have to also be very forgiving, because in the end we all play a character, and once we know better, and if we change, then we should leave the past behind. It is enough to be in the awareness of what one might have perpetrated. That is my point. I think we have to really forgive each other in a very basic way. All those who are definitely from a deep heart level ready to change and adapt to a new way of living. But this is all in the cards, and then there is this exact semi-sextile here to the node. The node here still with Nessus linked up and Mars. So this is why we are pulled towards the unraveling of the dark energies, Nessus, all that is wrong, all that is sick, all that is tainted and needs an overhaul, needs a renovation, all of that. And Mars naturally is, puts the fire under the arse, you could almost say, here together also with Orcus, and then a wider angle here with AW197 again. So this is about transfiguration. This is the energy of understanding how energies work. In Virgo, Mars is very methodical. There is all this knowing that is Virgo, a south node, very rich in seeing the finer details, and the really helps. But the real goal is to just allow happening what wants to happen. This is more kind of the backup energy. Anyway, this is this was very special also because the moon just had entered Cancer. So this is powerful. Again, an exact 30-degree angle. I love 30-degree angle. The angles, they are like siblings. You stand on each other's shoulder. Yes, you are kind of a little bit competitors in many ways, naturally, for resources, for attention, but still there's a distinct difference between the two, and they enrich each other, and siblings definitely have a very strong influence on each other. So this is the energy, Sun and Moon, one sign before new moon. Yes, a very beautiful chart. That was the moon again in that first degree of Cancer, which is all about going into a whole new direction. Okay, let's see what's next here. Okay, this is the same chart here, Sun Leo ingress for Philadelphia, which is the birthplace of the United States, so to say. So I always use this place as a reference point for how the greater nation is experiencing energies, less government focused, but more how the energies are received. And interesting enough is that 10th degree of Sag here at the 4th house cusp versus the 10th degree of Gemini. And when you look here, that is where Uranus is, and 855, it's a little hard to read, I guess. 855, that is within less than a degree, that is within 30 minutes of arc, half a degree of this axis. So yes, it really is setting up the nations big time. This is explosive. This is really shattering many lies and revealing whole panoramas of reality which had been neglected or avoided or just declared non-existent or artificially created or what not. I mean, there's many ways one could see that. And then Australia, the one who is ready to clean up and take the hard work, that is kind of the energy. If you go after an oil spill and clean the beach, that is kind of the energy. That is what's going on here with this Sun in Leo. Yes, this is now down to the gutter. We have to clean the toilet and what do not do what's necessary. Simple, but definitely not that easy. Interesting. Let's yet another hint how strong this base chart of the Declaration of Independence really is. This is where the Black Moon is in the American chart, 1928, and that was where the lunar south node was on the 22nd of July exactly. it's lingering around this degree for quite a while already, and it's keeping in its neighborhood, in its orbit. But the exact hit was on that day when, and that's pretty much, you see, that was just minutes after the Sun entered Leo, 9:52 a.m., or with the Moon at 0:51 Cancer, and versus the chart we just looked at before, that was 9:29 a.m. So yes, you see 20 plus minutes later. So this is when the Sun was just in the very first seconds of that sign, really not even at 001, 000, still. Really, that's the place where this Leo energy is now most visibly expressing. The next 4 weeks will be historical, will be a huge breakthrough in the right direction. So this is what the ingress chart of the Sun in a sign naturally says. It's valid for 30 days till the Sun enters the next sign. And then naturally again also that degree here for Philadelphia, right at the ascendant, bringing that black moon here in the natal chart right at the ascendant. Yes, it's right in our eyes. It can't be overlooked anymore. Yes, here I have then once more the base chart. Maybe just one thing I want to point out is Neptune by transit is here in this degree here, as you can see. If we go back, Neptune just turned retrograde on the 4th of July, actually here a little over 2 degrees, is almost still stationary. Just think of the many floods there were. Yes, there's definitely a link to that. Neptune here at the source point, there's an unimaginable amount of water around, and yes, I mean, that's just again one meaning Neptune has. Neptune also means inspiration, not new ideas, and all that imagination of new great ideas is definitely coming in. It is, I guess we all feel it. It's kind of on the back burner still a little bit because there's so much drama in the forefront. And then if you overlay the two charts inside the Declaration of Independence, outside the lunar north node, exactly on that degree 1928, so this is both charts for Philadelphia. Just wanted to quickly also show how the sign of Cancer is elevated right now, and that is where in the base chart Sun, Jupiter, Venus are, and here we have the Moon and Jupiter actually coming to make exact conjunctions with the Sun at least once in the next few weeks. So this is another sign that this is a very positive time overall, that this is a big potential, a big possibility which is open up for the nation in coming together and understanding that things have really been misrepresented and that they were led astray and all of that. It's a beautiful sign that Jupiter in Cancer, it is a reuniting force, even though it is in hexagram 39, as I said, which interestingly enough, the United States have their Sun in this hexagram 39, which I just mentioned before, which is about provocation, obstruction, that intentional play of energies to it's actually a very spiritual channel overall, because the partner which makes the channel in the human design, makes the energy really come to life, is 55, which is fullness, which is one of the highest spiritual energies here at the beginning of Pisces, that hexagram is defined as. So these two work together, and it is the divine teasing you to get to places where you probably wouldn't go otherwise. That's kind of the energies, and I guess that's happening on a collective level. It's something beautiful to watch and experience. So this is then another one, was the Venus-Mars square on the 23rd, all in anticipation of the real high point, which is tomorrow, as I said, the 5 square, 25 of July, with the heliocentric exact Venus-Mars opposition. So 2 days earlier, and this is not how it usually is. This is really a synchronicity. Some people would maybe say a coincidence, but it is a synchronicity that just very close to that opposition of Venus and Mars in actually. That is the funny thing with Mars and Venus, the inner planets. They appear from a we look at them from a very different angle, so they appear in different signs. So if we quickly go back to that chart once more, just so you see the difference. So in heliocentric astrology, Mars here in 21st of Libra, 21st Aries, Venus. And if we now see here, Venus is in the 21 Gemini, versus in the heliocentric at 21st Aries, versus Mars that is in heliocentric at 21 Libra, is at 21 in Virgo. Now, the interesting thing is that they're all in the 21st degree, so they're all resonating again with one another. Here Mars would be in a semi-sextile to its heliocentric position. Venus is in a sextile to its heliocentric position. So that really brings even more structural connections. That is a huge creative force at hand. We see here coming to life, and nevertheless of a Venus Jupiter Moon conjunction, which is a real high point. That's when you play fireworks. That's when you really feel expansive and celebrative. Again, also the 14th degree here, resonating naturally with that 14th degree where the Black Moon is, which I also showed you as the ascendant of that. Venus-Mars opposition. This is the geocentric chart of that moment. Okay, so then we have the Jupiter Maki square. Just also on the 23rd, you see it's all was very dense. I had intended to a podcast last week or so, but it's just too many things, and I was not really in the mood. Oh, here I am, a little late, but nevertheless, I really think you see the build-up which has been happening here. So what is Maki about? That is the courage to do something unusual, to take risks, to put even one's life on the line for a higher spiritual insight and service, being accepted into that higher level of initiation. Because literally the winner of that competition on Easter Island, Maki was the creator god on that island, so naturally they were revering that god Maki, and the ritual was every spring there was a season when birds, wild seabirds of a very special kind, were laying their eggs on a neighboring island, and young men were competing, swimming through the treacherous ocean with strong currents and shark invested waters to bring back the first egg from that little island, from those birds, and the one who won became the chosen mediator between the tribe and that deity. He became the oracle, so to say. So there is a lot of that involved, and Maki is a daredevil, ready to take on risks, and that is also linked into this Mars. No, I say it wrongly. Jupiter, folus. You see here we have again Jupiter, and then here we have folus and quaoar, which I mentioned. They had an exact square just 2 days earlier, on the 21st, as I've shown you. And now the exact square with Maki. Here it is. There's so many of them, so they're sometimes hard to see, but 954, that is to the second. I have calculated that practically, thanks to Jonathan Dunn's ephemeris he has for free online. Jonathan Dunn, truenote.com. I will put the link underneath, so for all those of you who are not aware of that site, it's an excellent site for astrologers to calculate any of the newer planets as well as the regular planets naturally for any date. Yes, thank you, Jonathan. So Jupiter Maki, right. And well, I don't want to say too much to this chart again. I could say a lot, and let's just go then to the Mars Nessus opposition. Also on that same day, everything really came together. Dang. Here this really powerful opposition, which again is in the 21st degree, so they're all kind of interacting with Venus and Mars. Mars Nessus, naturally, that is really putting the fire under whatever dark energies are there still to be smoked out, literally. I guess that's kind of the energy I'm getting from this opposition, together with Venus here at the Tsquare point, as we just had an exact Venus-Mars square. Naturally, you see Venus is just at 21-26, just a little bit further. So this is an exact T-square. Also with Venus-Mars, that both involved with Nessus, definitely resonates with the whole abuse theme and child whatever abuse and whatnot, which is definitely coming into more light as they go deeper into the Epstein files, and with Ghislaine Maxwell now testifying before Congress. I mean, it's all happening at once. It's really a house of cards. It's more than that. It's everything is starting to fall apart. What is the old system, which was all about control? It's a controlled demolition, really. And then here again, we are at the end of the show. That is tomorrow. So expect a climax of whatever sort. It could also be that Earth is reacting to that emotional shock, which is reverberating through the collective right now, as people really come to realize what is really going on this planet. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure to be here. Even though I don't do much, I enjoy it when I am doing it. And again, there's links underneath, and if you like to support me in any way, it is most welcome. Would be wonderful to also see comments and questions. I'm open to anything. Thank you again for being here. Love you all.